Good afternoon, everyone. I have no idea what Vincent just said about me, so I hope it was nice. Please take a moment to cast your minds back to 1994, if you were alive then, of course, and can remember so far back. In South Africa, 1994 was an exciting time. It was the birth of the democracy of our country. I remember the 29th of April as if it was yesterday. Thousands of people flocked to Pretoria to go to the Union buildings to celebrate the inauguration of Nelson Mandela. You could sense the anticipation, the celebration in the air. There was so much hope for a country that had suffered so much. The big words on everyone's lips was about how we would create equality for all, access to many services for all. Most South Africans at this time had a lack of access to decent housing, water and sanitation, education, health services, and importantly, energy. Whilst part of the country had great access to energy through the infrastructure that was there was really strong infrastructure. We were supplying our neighboring countries with electricity. We even supplied a big aluminium manufacturing plant in Mozambique called Moselle. Now, if you know anything about aluminium manufacturing, it's one of the most energy-sapping manufacturing processes. So we had this great infrastructure. And in the government's challenge that they faced, where we had to provide access to so many people who hadn't had electricity before and at really affordable prices, we landed up not investing in the infrastructure that had led to our great electricity supply in the past. And so we didn't maintain our infrastructure that well, we didn't further develop the infrastructure that well. And so as the demand for energy grew, the supply remained stagnant and in fact actually became less as power plants started cracking under pressure, not having sufficient time to go offline and do the required maintenance to keep electricity supply going. So having said all of that, this is what happened. We landed up in darkness. Boom. Suddenly, after having years of regular, solid supply of electricity, we landed up having load shedding, scheduled blackouts, businesses closed. We even recently had a downgrade in our international credit rating, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that we didn't have good, solid electricity access. It's not all doom and gloom. 83% of South African households have access to the grid, so this is a good story. But on the back of that, we have the consequences that we do now. Whilst 83% of South Africans have access to the grid, many choose to use other sources of energy anyway. Because of the infrastructure challenges that we face, there have been escalating costs of energy and electricity in South Africa. So we still have many households using candles for lighting, and you can see the quality is not good. We have many households that use paraffin or kerosene stoves that are unsafe. And these still cost a huge amount of money. In low-income households, 25% of disposable income gets used to meet their energy needs. So for cooking, lighting, keeping warm in winter, that's a quarter of their income that gets used on energy. Compare this to a high-income household, which would typically spend about 2% of their income on energy. So this is what we call energy poverty. Aside from the economic consequences of the situation, we have a disastrous and devastating series of shack fires. A candle falls over, a paraffin stove gets bumped over, and before you know it, like wildfire, these fires spread in informal settlements. In 2012, there were 100 people who died in the Western Cape alone from shack fires. Gauteng, the economic district of South Africa, has fires as one of the leading causes of death. And aside from fires being so risky in terms of the health and safety issues, about 20,000 people, 20,000, die from respiratory disease as a result of indoor air pollution. And this is something that can be totally prevented through using the right technology. So I don't want to cast a gloomy story, but a new solution is needed. And so Positive Planet, previously known as Planet Finance, came up with a program in South Africa to come up with a solution to this and other challenges. And the solution relies a lot on technology. In this photograph, you'll see wonder bags. They're a great invention. They're just made of polystyrene. You cook or boil your pot on the stove of rice or whatever you're cooking, put the lid on, take it off the stove, put it inside the wonder bag, seal it up, and the food cooks in its own heat. So the only energy that you use is to actually bring the pot to the boil. It's an affordable, simple piece of technology. This and other technology are the kind of products that we sell through our network called Energy Care. The most successful product is a clean cook stove like this one. It has a ceramic core in the middle, and this retains the heat. So the result is that you use 50 to 90% less wood, and it also has great results in terms of keeping people warm, because that heat is well contained inside the ceramic center and core. We also sell solar lights, much like my African sister described earlier. And so technology plays a key role in terms of bringing more affordable energy to people, but also cleaner energy and renewable energy in the case of solar lights. The second component of our program is employment creation. In South Africa, we have between 26 and 30% of unemployment, depending on how you measure it. And this is Sarah Silwane. She's our most successful independent distributor. What we do is we've trained up independent distributors to sell these products and to create a network that distribute these products throughout different parts of South Africa. She was in Paris in December last year receiving an award for being the most exceptional independent distributor in our network. So we're very proud of her. What sets her apart is that she really believes in these products and that they're going to change people's lives. So she's not just selling something, she knows about the benefits and she's ready to go out there and promote them in a community. And so she's a great inspiration. The third component of our program is distribution. How do we get these products to people all over a very big country? In many of similar programs, microfinance institutions play a key role in terms of getting these products to people because they've got such good networks. But in South Africa, we don't have a very strong classical microfinance network. And so we've worked with small tuck shops, small hardware stores, savings groups, and we've tried to create other networks that we can use to distribute these products. I think this is an area where we're still developing and we're still growing and hoping to achieve more scale. And so in many respects, this journey has just begun. We are still trying to work out how we can reach millions of people rather than thousands. But already today, we've reached 5,000 households that have healthier and safer access to more affordable energy. And that's 5,000 lives that have been changed, 5,000 families that have been changed. So I hope that we can continue to find a solution that will reach more people. And thank you for staying to the very end. Well done.